Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this article right here. So, through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. Says 2 children unaccounted for, 6 homes burned after fire nearly takes out entire block in Millville, New Jersey. Unaccounted for on Thursday morning after a blaze erupted in Millville, Cumberland County neighborhood. One person has also been taken to the hospital. Rubble continues to smolder hours after a fire nearly destroyed the entire 300 block of South 4th Street in Millville. Flames spread to a total of 6 homes, displacing 23 people. It broke out around 11 p.m. on Wednesday. Drone 6 was above the spot where the fire burned 2 duplexes down to the foundation and badly damaged 2 single-family homes. Said everything's burned to the ground. We have nothing. My daughter has no shoes on her feet. My son has no coat. We have nothing. Said it, Broughton of Millville. That nearly 24 people are facing the same reality after narrowly escaping the fast-moving fire. Action News has been told that a gas line ruptured, which fed the fire and made it more intense, allowing the flames to jump from house to house. Said until the South Jersey gas arrived and was able to turn the gas off to all the houses, we did have a gas-fed fire that made it a little bit more difficult, said Chief John Wetstein with the Millville Fire Department. Broughton, a mother of 3, described how it all happened so quickly. She said, I just put my baby on my shoulder and went outside and I grabbed my son. I don't know what happened. Another issue is that the hydrant on the block didn't work when firefighters arrived. The chief said they had to run 800 feet of hose to the nearest hydrant after the trucks ran out of water. So one resident says he watched his home burn down as crews scrambled to get access to water. The fire chief said they aren't quite ready to give more details on the 2 children who are unaccounted for, but did say the adult taken to the hospital is a family member of the children. That person is expected to be okay. The Red Cross is assisting those displaced. Yeah, so this is what's happening in these last days. Hey, the Lord is turning up these judgments. 6 homes burned. This is what the men of the Lord mean when they say that the Lord is turning things up. Because, yes, fires, spreading to other houses, that's, nothing new. That sometimes does happen. But but damn near a whole block of houses getting taken out, yeah, that's not common. But it's going to become a lot more common. Psalms 9:16, the Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands, Hegeon Selah. And this was judgment. All of those people's homes getting destroyed, that was judgment from the Lord. Because the Lord is the one who sent that fire, who caused that fire. Just like I've been saying through the Spirit, there's going to be a lot more, destructive fires and destructive earthquakes and destructive storms and tempests. It's just going to get increasingly worse. Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm, and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And that's what that was, a flame of devouring fire. It jumped from house to house to house, almost wiped out the entire block. If that's not devouring fire, then I don't know what is. And like it says, thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts. So the Lord visited that block with fire. And there was nothing that anybody could have done to stop that from happening. Second Timothy 3 and 1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's right. Times full of danger. And clearly we are in those times. There's been a lot more fires, a lot more earthquakes, a lot more storms and tempests. There's more protests happening. There's more wars popping up. The division amongst the different nations is increasing. Violence is increasing within these different countries. So we are clearly living in the last days. And there is no turning back. Things are not going to go back to the way they used to be. Things are just going to get increasingly worse. The Lord's judgments are going to intensify. There's going to be more destruction, more chaos, more death, more misery, more mourning and weeping for people. James 4 and 9, be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. And in these last days, there's going to be a lot of mourning and weeping. A lot of people are going to be crying because they lost their home, they lost their car, they lost their job, they lost their business, they lost friends, they lost family members. There's going to be a lot of crying going on. There's going to be a lot of crying because people are going to start to come to that realization that there is no going back to the good old days. When people could go to the grocery store and buy 3 full carts worth of food, or when people were able to just go on vacation because things weren't as expensive as they are. People were able to buy a new car, buy a new house, pay for their kids to go to college or whatever. Things that they used to be able to do relatively easily, that's all coming to an end. And as it comes to an end, people are going to struggle more. We already see it, especially on TikTok. A lot of people making videos of themselves crying because life has gotten a lot more difficult for them. The cost of living is going up and people just, they can't keep up with it. These jobs are not paying people enough. People got to work 2, 3, 4 jobs just to barely keep a roof over their head and food on the table. And there really aren't many jobs left out here as it is. And then you have people, who work in the gig economy, like doing Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and things like that. But that's starting to get oversaturated because everybody's doing it as a side hustle, just trying to make some more money. So it's becoming way too oversaturated. I genuinely believe that this summer is going to be incredibly chaotic because it's like, what is anybody going to do? But these are all signs of the last days, man. The miseries, the destruction, the chaos. This is how the last days are going to be. And it's going to be a whole lot worse than what we're already seeing. But those of us of the hopeful elect, all we got to do is, continue to trust in the Lord, continue to send up prayers, continue to watch and read and fast, and just stay locked in. Don't get comfortable here because things are about to become very uncomfortable here. And best believe these type of judgments are going to intensify. You're going to start having fires break out and homes exploding, and it's going to get insane out here because the Lord is going to turn up these judgments. As bad as things look right now, it's only going to get worse. And we have to keep that in mind. That way we're not surprised when things inevitably do get worse. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakakudash, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great milestone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Hope you stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.